Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Who is going to be the MVP of the upcoming CDL season? Shotzzy, in many people's eyes, may well be the front runner, but what if OpTic do not win that many events compared to, for example, the Los Angeles Thieves? HyDra is certainly in the conversation as well, but Crimsix, the greatest of all time in Call of Duty in terms of accolades, he has played with both of these players, with HyDra on the subliners for a couple of years, and of course with Shotzzy on the Dallas Empire days. Kremp gives his perspective on the respective players and how good they are, but who is actually more impactful to their roster in terms of winning. Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Bose isn't happy about the state of COD. I can't blame him. And you know, there are cheaters everywhere. Some people though aren't cheating. This guy, apparently this kid's like 11 years old. Now I talk often about the lack of upcoming talent in Call of Duty, and I don't know if this guy is gonna, if this kid's actually gonna take up COD or whether he's gonna go elsewhere. But the funny thing about this, and I'll keep making this point, like this kid is cracked. Now he's already playing Claw as well, so I mean, you know, I don't know. He's got to be doing the Scrappy hand stretches already at this point if he wants to maintain actually a long career. But this kid is nice. There's no doubt about it. And, you know, obviously we've got Havoc getting slammed here. And he's like, hang on a second. How's this 11-year-old absolutely world-starring us dropping 50? So there's lots of talent out there. Thing is, this kid, clearly very talented at video games. Is he going to be a professional gamer? Plausibly. You know, obviously the career is looking potentially there. Is he going to be a professional Call of Duty player? The way that the league currently is, very, very unlikely. It's going to be 7 years until this kid can play in challenges. Like, you're telling me that he's not just going to go and run it up in another esport before then? Like, come on. He might be great at CODs, but, you know, he's going to take his talent elsewhere would be my feeling. So Exceed then says, if this kid's actually 11, switch into PC gaming, this kid's got a future. And this guy then says he turns 12 in April. He's a well-known Apex ranked grinder. So apparently he's like an Apex kid, just trying out some COD ranked recently. He's just been burnt out on Apex. He's played it since he was 5. What? That's just outrageous. But yes, this is his father, I believe, right? So yeah, that's a crazy story. But as I say, this kid might be very talented. I don't think he's going to be a COD player based on the way that this league is compared to other leagues. That's just my opinion. I know that I make this point a fair bit. Also some drama, because people aren't very happy about this. The Squid Game 2 X Call of Duty event content that's going on. And it's just funny, isn't it? Activision, they can't fix the anti-cheat, they can't fix the game, they can't give us any new good maps, but they can give you $87 worth of expenditure if you want to on all of these things that you could potentially have into the game. Bundles aren't released yet. I know that many people are looking to sing it like, are they actually taking the piss at this point? And probably yes, but people are going to pay it, so, you know, maybe it's not their fault. Quickly on CleanX, there's been lots of talk. Who's been the player of the season so far? There's a good few candidates, even Slasher, Gwinn, for example, Shotzzy, certainly in the conversation over there. But also, you know, Slasher's team 4-0, Toronto's team, of course, 4-0. You've got HyDra and the boys 4-0, but, you know, Toronto also feature CleanX, and this guy has been, I would say, probably underrated. Like, if I talk about the underrated players in the league, I think there was a time in the last couple of seasons where CleanX probably was getting just about the recognition he deserved for the player that he is, but I think most of the time in his career, he's definitely not got the recognition that he's deserved for how good he is, and how, you know, just if you compare CleanX to aBeZy, for example, they're not been dissimilar in recent years, I would say, in general. And CleanX does get a lot of credit from the community, and for good reason, but his performance so far this season, and will likely continue to be this way, because I think this game does suit him very well. And the way that things now are, like, the CleanX Envoy duo was nice, but I don't know, I feel like CleanX JoeDeceives could be even better in some regards. Not saying Envoy's a better player than JoeDeceives, but I just feel like in terms of the way that they might work together, there's something to say about that. So anyway, he started the season very, very well. 98 cards so far, 1.11 in the hardpoint, 1.22 in the search, 1.26 in the control, and his kills and damage per 10 in every game mode are right up there with the very best in the entire league. So it might not be a massive surprise, but thought I'd share it regardless. Lots of drama as well on the map set. We know the pros want new maps in. Hacienda has arrived. They've made the map set change. Rewind went on both occasions. Search and Destroy and Hardpoint Rewind is gone. And Skyline is still in. Skyline was the map in the beta that people thought, this is going to be the competitive map. It looks good. It looks like it should be competitive. The colors are good. Like, the map design on paper looked okay. And it's okay. Cammy says it's a fun map. Sure, it's like a bocage maybe. It's kind of like a bang out. But it's maybe not fundamentally the most sound. So Cammy was giving his thoughts on it and says, I actually just miss rewinds. And, you know, other pros, well, okay, Sasha giving his perspective as well on what he describes as the real hacienda. And, yeah, so as he says, I miss the real Hassie. They catfished us, basically, because the map is the same, but they've added this new section, right, that overlooks towards the A bomb site, and it does change the way the map works. And also the way the water works as well, because the Slasher, well, as this guy Donovan says, I don't think people understand how different the map now plays with that window overlooking the bomb and not being able to hit water to break P4. It's still Hacienda. I still think it's, you know, a good map. And some would argue it's better now, certainly for Search and Destroy. You'd argue it might play better with the way that that window exists. But arguably for Hardpoint, it doesn't play quite the same, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't mind it. But Slasher is not so happy that the map doesn't seem to be or feel to be exactly what it was before. Is he agreeing with Cammy that we've got to get rid of something and bring rewinds back in? I wouldn't be massively opposed to it. But would the CDL actually go on to make that decision, or would the pros be consulted, as they were not when they made the change in the first place? I don't really mind either way. But I think it is only a matter of time, I would hope, until we get some more maps in, because at the end of the day, we just need more maps. Like, minus Skyline plus rewinds is like, I mean, to me, it's pretty marginal. Like, who really cares? I think there's an argument either way, maybe. Some people will prefer one or the other for various reasons. But my feeling is both of them should be gone in favour of just a better map. Like, something fundamentally sound would be fine. There are rumours that Yemen is in the works, maybe among other maps as well, of course. Classic Black Ops 2 map. It would be interesting to see it played today, not on Black Ops 2, because of, you know, some of the hard points like the Churchill being very difficult to break back in BO2, and that would be the case today as well. But back in BO2, you know, there were so many trophy systems, there were no gentleman's agreements with regard to the number of trophies you could use, so, you know, it's just how it was back then. Today it would be, I think, a slightly different story in terms of utility and the way that teams can look to potentially break those hard points. We'll see if Yemen actually ever arrives, or whether any other BO2, BO3, BO4, whatever, just save us, give us something like Arsenal, Frequency, Stronghold, like whatever, just give us something, and probably going to be better than some of the things that we have right now. Crimsix experienced all those times, playing in the Jetpack era when he was winning most of his championships, and he's been grinding COD again over the last few days as he gets ready for his new racing season, which is yet to be confirmed exactly what series he's going to be racing in for the new season. However, he was giving his thoughts, watching some scrims yesterday between OpTic and, you know, obviously the teams that they were playing up against. We talked about them earlier today. Shotzzy and HyDra, two players that he's played with before, and in many respects in the league right now, maybe number one, number two. HyDra is an incredibly talented player. Of all the players that I've watched in Call of Duty, maybe since like Scump, there is no POV that I like watching more than HyDra. I know that Shotzy's POV is incredible and it's on a completely different level, but in terms of a player, like, if I could just be a certain player and play their way, I would be HyDra, I think. Because everything about his POV is just perfect. The movement is unreal, the centering, like, the way that he plays COD is like the way that if you're like a normal player and you could pack-a-punch yourself somehow and 99 at every stat, you'd play like HyDra. Shotzzy is just a completely different breed. Like, he's not from this planet in the way that he plays. And maybe players like HyDra can do some of the stuff that Shotzzy does in the map sometimes, but like, he's an alien almost, whereas HyDra is, you almost feel like you could play like HyDra if you were just 99 in every category. That's at least the way that I read it. And, well, Kremp's perspective is interesting because he's played both of these guys. He won world championships with nearly, well, not nearly both of these guys, to be fair. He made the world championship with both of these guys. He won the world championship with Shotzzy on Dallas Empire back in 2020, the year that he, on some level, brought him in. I mean, it wasn't really Crimsix that brought Shotzzy in. It was actually Huke who brought Shotzzy in, but obviously Krem was on board. And then the following year, Krem and Shotzzy stayed playing together, and Shotzzy gives Krem good credit for being a good teammate, but there was also times that he wasn't a good teammate, and that caused some friction and meant that, you know, when it came to forming OpTic Texas, as they eventually did, Krem was the odd man out of the equation. But he also played with HyDra shortly after that on the subliners. They won an event together. They came second of their own events to qualify for the World Championship in crazy fashion that year. And you know, Krem has experience with HyDra as well. His feeling is the following.
HyDra is the better individual player. Shotzzy's the way better team player. Shotzzy will make your job as a main AR so much fucking easier. Like, I remember in MW and Cold War, I thought I was really fucking good. And then immediately I like no longer was teaming with Shotzzy. I'm like, damn, I'm not that fucking good. I'm not that good. Like, if you ask me, I think Shotzzy will help your team win more games. But HyDra will always look better statistically.
So what do you guys think about this perspective, right? Because I think you can argue it a couple of different ways. In terms of numbers, you will see this be true. I think it will be true this season. I think it will be true, certainly in previous seasons this was true, that HyDra's individual stats are probably better than Shotzzy's. This year, it may be different, just because of the way that the game is, the way that the game has always been like designed for Shotzzy on some level. Like, Shotzzy's numbers this year may just be incredibly good and as good as HyDra's. I don't think they will be, just on the way that he plays, because Shotzzy is not just about dropping big performances on the map, he's about creating space for his team, doing whatever's necessary to win the game. I think that's where Kremp feels he is, because HyDra is going to be your superstar. He's the guy you can rely on from an SMG side to always deliver on the server every single map. But, you know, you've got to work around him to some degree. He is there to slay on some level, and he's there to be very aggressive and slay as a consequence as well, and get all the kills in a way that very few other players have ever been able to do. But Shotzzy, I think I'd agree with Kremp, from a team player perspective, is probably better. It does raise an interesting question, I guess. If you were building a team from scratch, you're starting from scratch, you know, have a brand new, let's say you are Vegas Falcons, and you have infinite money to spend on a roster going into 2026. You can choose one player in the league to start your team off. Who do you choose? In previous years, people might have said Dashy or Cellium or Simp, I think is still maybe the correct answer. But, you know, between HyDra and Shotzzy, who would you choose? You can argue either way. I think Kremp would probably choose Shotzzy on this evidence, because you know that if you've got Shotzzy, you can put him with kind of whoever, and he's going to make them better. So I don't necessarily think that Shotzzy or HyDra is like more impactful than the other. Shotzzy is maybe more impactful to the team, but HyDra can be more impactful on an individual map-by-map situation, I suppose. Both players are great, you know, just appreciate greatness while it's here, I guess, is the conclusion from this discussion. But very much interested to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Bro, listen to this. I get on my flight, coming back from Toronto. I sit down. Okay, I will be honest. I was in first class, okay? I was in the first. It's not first class. It was just a bigger seat, you know, like the little 2x2 plane.
First class, yeah.
I sit down. I'm waiting. I look up. It's Brandon's dumbass. He cuts on. He sits right next to me. Literally, he is right next to me, bro.
Wait, where are you flying to?
Back to Dallas. He's right next to me. I'm like, dog. Literally, guy walks on, just fucking
no way.
Green OpTic hoodie, sits down, just brain dead. Then I fly to LA 5 hours later, right? I land at like 7 a.m. I have nowhere to go. I don't have a hotel room. I think no one's awake. I finally get the hotel address. I'm sitting in the lobby waiting for my team to come down. I look left. Dylan attaches in the fucking hotel lobby fucking room. I'm like, dog, what the I'm in a simulation, bro.
You're in a fucking simulation.
I'm like, I'm in a simulation.